Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about speed workouts that actually work for 13 plus minute per mile Run Disney runners.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
So, last episode, I was talking about 3 simple ways that you can get faster when you're slow. And I briefly mentioned that using the correct speed workouts is helpful. But that wasn't one of the 3 simple ways, because with those ways, you're definitely going to get a little bit faster. That's like baseline changes to make. If you're really ready for it to get faster and really go all in with it, that's where these specific speed workouts come into play. And I recommend 4 specific speed workouts for slow, back of the pack Run Disney runners. I have seen these work so well to get Run Disney runners faster without exhausting them or doing these long, weird, or just not appropriate for them speed workouts like strides or fartleks. Like those different kinds are fine for somebody else. If you've tried those and you're like, I am not getting faster, and you are doing the other 3 simple tips that I recommended doing in the last episode, this episode is for you to make those changes to the speed workouts that you are doing. So these speed workouts really work well for runners who are doing run walk intervals or really don't want to be pushing for long lengths of time. Like we're pushing for 30 seconds at a time, 10 seconds at a time, a minute at a time. That's why it works really well for run walk intervals. The majority of runners I work with do use 30-30 run walk intervals, meaning 30 seconds running, 30 seconds walking. Some runners are also doing 15 seconds running, 30 seconds walking, or 60 seconds running, 60 seconds walking. The exact intervals that you're using don't matter. These will get you faster. I only talk about the intervals that runners are using just to give you a gauge of what most runners are using when they're using run walk intervals. And I mostly see 30-30. So when we're talking about doing speed workouts, I am talking about a short workout. So these tend to be the workouts in the middle of the week for my runners. Tuesday or Thursday, if you're coming from the other guy's training plan and following that system of the days that you're running, those are good days to do it. Wednesday, Friday, Monday, Wednesday. I do recommend a day off in between, and I recommend having at least a day off in between the speed workout and the long run, because you want to push yourself on these speed workouts to push your upper limits. You want to be running hard for 30 to 50% of it at least. We're not talking 100% of the 45-minute workout is all out sprint. I'm not talking about that. If you follow heart rate zones, you want your heart rate to be in zone 4 and zone 5 for 30 to 50% of the speed workout portion. So as an example, yesterday I did my progression run. That is one of the 4 speed workouts that I recommend. I do them too. I love the progression run. It's really easy for me to do technically because of the treadmill. It's not easy to run through it. I get to the point where I'm like, oh my God, how much longer? How many more sets of this do I have? Oh, I can do 2 more sets of 30 seconds of this. That's typically what happens. I get to the 4th, 5th, or 6th of these, and I'm like, how many more do I have? That's the feeling you should be getting. And I was in zone 5 for about 12 minutes of the run. Now, please, please, please remember, I don't typically follow zone workouts, heart rate zone workouts, because there are flaws with them. But if you are consistently looking at the same thing and you like following that, by all means, you can. But please remember that heart rate gets manipulated. When you're dehydrated, your heart rate's going to go up. When you're stressed out, it's going to go up. When you're exhausted, it's going to go up. When you have anxiety, stressed out, it's going to go up. If you're coming down with illness, it's going to go up. There are many factors to it. So I'm not saying you have to use it, but for those who already follow zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5 running, for the speed workouts, you're looking at zone 4 and zone 5. So the progression run that I did yesterday, progressively getting faster and faster and faster. And I got to the point where I was like, okay, how many more of these do I have? I want to stop. I had 2 more by the time I got to that. Like I was at the tail end of the 4th and I had number 5 and number 6 to go. I could do this for another minute. So I did. I pushed through. And that's the kind of feeling I want you to get. I don't want it to be so hard that you're starting that feeling on the first rep. Definitely not the first rep of round 1, but the first rep of the different rounds. Now, depending on how you have it structured, you might have 3 rounds, you might have 4 rounds, you might have 5 rounds of this. Each round lasts 5 minutes, with the last 2 minutes being a walking rest break. So we're doing 3 minutes of hard work per round, and then 2 minutes of walking. Okay? So I got to, I think, the end of round 2, and I was like, how many more reps of this do I have? And it was right on target because I had 2 more, and that was bringing me to the peak of how fast I was going. Because the way a progression run works is you get faster and faster and faster until you hit peak, and then you start going slower and slower and slower. So you go up to the peak and you start coming back down. So when you're doing this, you're running progressively faster and then coming back down. Somebody might also call this a ladder because you're going faster and faster and faster, and then you're going slower and slower and slower. I like this one in particular because it's my favorite to run. I like how it's set up. I also like it because yes, you're going slower at the end, and many runners will falsely think, well, I should keep going faster. If you program your paces right, you should be starting to get toward your peak pace, starting to think like, oh God, how many more of these do I have? If you're not starting to feel like that, in my opinion, you're not going fast enough. And then as you start coming back down, yes, it's a slight break, but you have been working so hard that you, even going those slower paces, quote unquote, slower paces, they're still hard. So you're already tired and now you're pushing your limits, but you're not going so fast that it's impossible. Right? Because at what point do we stop just getting faster and faster and faster? Right? Like if you just kept going faster, there's no end in sight. Now, of course, time limit wise, but if you're doing that and you're hitting peak, what I'm calling peak, let's just call it 6.5 miles per hour. I don't know what your peak is. That's not what my peak was yesterday, but that's not the point of the conversation. So I chose a random one. But let's say 6.5 miles per hour is that peak. Could you keep going to 6.6, 6.7, 6.8, 6.9, 7.0? Sure. But once you get to the end of round 4 or round 5, What are you at? 8.5? Does that get you that much faster? No, it does not. You you start just feeling like you're gonna die.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, quick heads up. If you're training for a Run Disney race and feeling like there's no way you'll have time for character stops without the balloon ladies breathing down your neck, I've got you. I'm teaching a free workshop that'll show you how to train smarter and get a bigger buffer without adding more miles or feeling broken. It's called Buffer Miles and Character Smiles. Click the link in the show notes to register now. But when you hit that peak and then start coming back down, you're still working on getting faster. You're still working on your body's ability to get faster. Those muscles, that type 1 fiber, the fast twitch fiber, working on your body's efficiency and your turnover of your legs. Okay, so progression is one example. And I started talking about that. Didn't even mean to start talking about that. I started talking about it. Honestly, now that I've said this, I don't remember why I started talking about it. I did it yesterday as an example. But with these speed workouts, you want each one has a goal. And this is how I recommend my clients in Stronger, Faster, Finisher and my one-on-one clients do their workouts. Each workout has a goal. And the goal of the long run, as an example, is to build time on your feet. The slower, the better. I love when my runners tell me, I did a 17-minute per mile long run today, where they normally do 15 or 16 minutes per mile. Love it. They said, I needed to go slower today, or this was comfortable and I had lots of time and I slowed it way down. Yes, loves this for you. If you listen to the last episode, I talked about that long run should be 2 to 3 minutes per mile slower than what you anticipate your race pace to be. We're talking slow. Okay? As an example, my last half marathon was 3 hours and 5 minutes. That came out to be like a 13:30-ish per mile pace. My long runs, including whatever I was walking, were 15 to 16 minutes per mile on average. That hits the money, hits the nail right on the head. I anticipated 13:30. I tested my paces, so that's another part of the conversation. And so that's where I get these numbers from. But then my long run pace average ended up being 15 to 16 minutes per mile. That hit it. So long run is to build time on your feet. Speed workouts. These are short and fast. These are to build up the muscles that actually make your legs turn over faster, literally go faster. Okay? I have 4: 30, 20, 10, progression, tempo, and hills. Okay? Each one of those 4 has a different goal. So, goal of 30, 20, 10 is to use it for short bursts of speed. Like in race day, if you have to catch back up from going to the bathroom, if you need to catch back up a little bit with your friends after, like I just said, going to the bathroom, or you want to get a little bit ahead, make up a little bit of time from your character stop, or somebody right in front of you is going really slow and you need to get around them. 30, 20, 10 is great for that. You do 30, 20, 10. It stands for 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and 10 seconds. So it's 3 different paces. To talk about them differently, I talk about them as jog, run, sprint. it does not mean that you actually need to be jogging during the jog portion. Many of my runners in Stronger, Faster, Finisher do the 30 seconds as a walk. Because remember, I said most runners I work with, they do a 30-30 run-walk interval. So they use that 30 seconds as their walk interval. Okay? So 30 seconds of pace 1. Maybe we're walking it, maybe we're jogging it. 20 seconds of a faster pace. That could be a running pace. And then 10 seconds of sprinting or your fastest pace. Okay? 30, 20, 10. Progression. I already talked about this a little bit. You're going a little bit faster each repetition. This is good to practice what you're going to be doing on race day. The way I recommend my clients race is they start off slower and progressively get faster and faster through the race. So then they don't start off too fast and too hard and gas out too early in the race. So you are progressively getting faster. Tempo run. Tempo in my world is a little bit different than what you'll see in other running coaches' worlds. That's okay. I just have a different definition of it. Tempo run is any pace that's faster than your easy run and somewhere slower than race pace, and occasionally practicing race pace. The goal of this one is to practice faster paces for longer amounts of time, practicing the same pace. So progression run, you're doing one pace for 15 or 30 seconds, and then you're doing the next pace for 15 or 30 seconds before you walk again. 30, 20, 10, you're practicing those same paces 30, 20, 10, 30 seconds, 20 seconds, 10 seconds over and over again. Tempo, you're practicing the same pace, the same run walk interval paces for 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time to see what your legs feel like doing that pace for prolonged amount of time. So then you know on race day, this is what my legs are going to feel like when I run a 14-minute per mile or a 12-minute per mile or a 17-minute per mile for 5, 10, 15 minutes at a time. So then you know, okay, my legs really start feeling it when I'm doing a 12-minute per mile pace for 10 minutes and then I need to slow down. So then we don't have to be guessing on race day, well, are my legs just feeling like this because I just had to go around somebody? Is it because I just went up the hill or something like that? No, you will know, okay, well, when I did this during training, during practice, I consistently started feeling this way at the 10-minute mark. So then you know, okay, I need to slow down, or maybe you know that my legs still feel good after 10 minutes, and so I can push to the next next 5 minutes. This is getting you accustomed to what your legs are going to feel like at different points. So now it's not all new on race day. Hills. Running up those hills, practice running up those hills to mimic hills on race day, to mimic the on and off ramps on race day. Then you know how your legs respond to running up those hills. Should you sprint it? Should you walk it? I have clients who running up the hill is no good, so they want to walk it, but running down the hill feels great and they can make up time. So they know that. I have the exact opposite of some clients where they know that running up the hill feels good, but running down the hill kills their knees, so they need to walk down the hill. Practice it before race day happens, so now you know how your body is going to respond. Practicing these different speed workouts will get you faster. If you listen to episode 160 from 4 hours to 3 hours and 15 minutes, that's what one of my Stronger, Faster, Finisher clients did in her half marathon at Halloween weekend. In 2024, she did that same half marathon in just under 4 hours. this year, 2025, she did it in 3 hours and 15 minutes. And she said in that episode, go listen to the episode and hear it from her words. But the difference was she worked with me for 6 months and the different things that we worked on in Stronger, Faster, Finisher to make that happen. It works. Now, you can't do any of these workouts without knowing your paces. We're not going out willy-nilly. This is what I need to run for the 30 seconds of the 30, 20, 10. This is what I need to run for the 20. This is what I need to run for the 10. This is where I willy-nilly am going to start for the progression run. Could you do that and then figure out what paces feel good and push your limits? Sure. But it's going to take you 2 months to actually figure out what your paces should be. Because 95% of the time, you start off slower than you actually can do. I see it every time. With Stronger, Faster, Finisher, I have my clients do a pace test, a magic pace formula, my signature way of finding your pace. I actually have them do it twice because 95% of the time, my clients say, I think I could have gone faster. I was nervous when I started it. I didn't want to go out too fast and gas myself out or get hurt or go flying off the treadmill. And then after they do that first time, they're like, I feel like I could have gone faster. So I have that second time, that second pace test for them right there. In that first week, we start working together. So then they can do it a second time and decide which numbers are more accurate for them. Because 95% of the time, you go out slower than your body is actually capable of doing, which is great because you can always test it again. But what I'm saying is if you just willy-nilly go out and run random paces for the 30, 20, 10, and then I can go faster next time. Yes, you can always go faster next time. But wouldn't it be nice to know that from the get-go and not have to do it for 8 weeks at a time to finally hit the pace that you should be doing? It would be nicer. And that's why I do the pace test the way I do it. Because I give very specific instructions on how your easy run should feel, how your moderate pace should feel, and how your hard pace should feel. So then you are already starting to think, okay, well, if that's how the easy pace should feel, this is the number I'm going to try. And then you try it, as opposed to just going out on these progression runs and randomly selecting with no educated guess associated with it, and then actually trying it. So I invite you to test your paces. So then you can use that to actually get faster. And then 6 to 8 weeks later, test them again. That's how you know that they're working. I had a client who is nervous. Everybody's nervous about race day, right? Nervous about actually being able to maintain the pace. And one thing I see runners or hear runners say is, well, if I can't do it on this long run, how am I ever going to know that I can do it on race day? 100% valid. 100% valid. We structure the workouts, specifically in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, structure the workout so that you have chances to test again. So then you can see after 6 or 8 weeks of doing these speed workouts, you test again and you see, oh, it did translate to my easy run. It has gotten faster. Most of my clients, after doing the speed workouts for at least 30 days, they see that they have gotten about 60 seconds per mile faster, usually translated to their easy pace. Some have gotten 90 seconds faster, and most of my runners see 90 seconds per mile faster on race day. That's what happens when you slow down, you feel for your time, you test your paces, and you work strategically on these speed workouts. But you can't work strategically on these speed workouts without knowing what pace you should be running for each individual workout. I tested my paces last Monday because it's been a while since I did it. I think the last time I tested was July because I had Halloween half marathon weekend, the first weekend in September. And then honestly, I took some time off from running. I moved and things just, life got lifey. And I just wasn't running. I was getting my daily activity and movement in just from moving house. And so I'm picking back up again because I'm doing the 5K in January at Disneyland. And then I'm doing Springtime Surprise Challenge. So it's time to get going again. So I tested my pace on Monday. So I knew exactly what pace to start at for my progression run. And it was perfect. It was on point because I got two reps before my peak fastest in my progression run. And I was close to being ready to be done. I was like, how much longer do I have to do this? How many more reps do I have? And I had 2 reps left. That is perfect. I was 100% on point. And then I started going slower. And then I looked at my activity afterward and I was in zone 5 for 12 minutes of my progression run, which is perfect because I said zone 5 for like 30 to 50% of the time. Well, in that 45-minute progression workout, 10 minutes was warm up, 10 minutes was cool down. Then I did 4 rounds of progression. The 5th round, I like to end with just running. So either easy pace or somewhere between easy pace and moderate pace. And instead of doing 5 rounds of progression, I find that that combination works really nicely. Gives me another chance to practice a pace for a little bit longer amount of time. Now, I don't do 30-30 run-walk intervals. I do a different set of run-walk intervals, but this is just how I like it. So if we're looking at 45 minutes and then minus 10 minutes, that's 35 minutes, and then minus another 10 minutes, that's 25 minutes. So 25 minutes of actual speed work, and 12 minutes of it was in zone 5. So that's just under 50% of the time being in zone 5. Perfect. I know I pushed my limits enough that over time I will see progress. Now, I know that because I've been doing it for years and I've been having my clients do it as well. So I know what's to come. If I was talking about this 5 years ago, I wouldn't know that information yet because I wouldn't have done it consistently in that amount of time with me and then seeing my clients do it. But I know that now. I know that if I am in zone 4 to 5 for 30 to 50%, if it's zone 4 only, I want it more of that upper limit, maybe even 55%. But zone 5 in there, I know that that means I pushed myself enough, but I'm not going to be exhausted for the rest of the day. I'm not going to get hurt, and I'm going to be able to go and do a cross-training workout the next day and not be down for the count. So use these speed workouts, do a pace test. And if you're interested in doing it and you're listening to this the day that this recording is dropping, check the link in the show notes. I am hosting a free workshop, Buffer Miles and Character Smiles, and you are going to learn how to do that pace test so you know exactly how fast you should be training so that you can get more character stops and build a bigger buffer between you and the balloon ladies. Please take what you've learned in this episode and use it to adjust your strategy for your Run Disney race training. It's not about doing more. It's about doing the right things in the right balance so you can finish strong, not broken. And if you want personalized guidance specific to your race, your injury history, your running background, and your goals, that's exactly what we do inside Stronger, Faster, Finisher. You'll get step-by-step instructions and a proven system to help you train smarter from start to finish. Join the waitlist today to be the first to know when it opens next. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.